Welcome to Book Haven.
But I think we're going to look at it through a specific lens today, right?
Absolutely. And that lens is Emily Compagno's book, Under His Wings, How Faith on the Front Lines Has Protected American Troops. It's amazing. I mean, over 20 stories from soldiers. We're talking World War II, Vietnam, even modern conflicts in the Middle East.
Wow, covering a lot of ground there.
Yeah, and it's not just like, oh, faith is good.
Yeah.
She digs into how it provided solace and strength in moments of incredible hardship.
I mean, you can imagine what these soldiers went through.
Exactly. And, the book draws inspiration from Psalm 9.
Okay.
So already you get a sense of the kind of the spiritual depth we're going to be exploring.
It's interesting how Compagno really goes beyond that surface level. She doesn't just say faith is comforting. She shows how it becomes the shield, a source of resilience in these incredibly tough situations.
Yeah, and it's how that really got me. Like, she gets into the specifics. For example, there's this story about a group of soldiers in the Korean War.
Oh, yeah, I remember reading about that one.
They're huddled in a foxhole under intense enemy fire, and they start reciting the Lord's Prayer together.
Wow, powerful image. And I think that's what struck me. It's about ritual, Even something as simple as a shared prayer can bring order to chaos, creating this little pocket of peace in a war zone.
It's amazing, and it's not just about finding peace. There's another story about a medic in Vietnam who's constantly surrounded by death and suffering.
That must have been incredibly difficult.
And he finds solace in reading the Psalms, especially the ones about lament and grief.
Yeah.
Like, he's using scripture to process this unimaginable trauma.
It's fascinating how the Psalms give him this language for expressing his pain. He's connecting his own experience to this larger story of suffering and redemption.
And then there are the stories that go beyond individual solace, like the soldier in Iraq who risks his own life to save a wounded enemy combatant.
I remember that one. What an act of compassion.
And he later said that his fate compelled him to see the humanity in everyone, even his enemies. It makes you think about how belief can drive action.
Absolutely. Especially actions of selflessness and courage in the most dehumanizing of circumstances. It really pushes the boundaries of what we think faith can do.
But, the book doesn't shy away from the complexities either.
Right, because it's not always a simple picture.
There's a story about a soldier struggling with the moral ambiguity of his mission in Afghanistan. He's questioning if the war is just grappling with feelings of guilt and doubt.
That's such an important aspect of Compagno's work. She acknowledges that faith isn't always this easy source of comfort. Sometimes it leads to internal conflict, especially when soldiers are facing situations that challenge their beliefs.
Yeah, and it really makes you wonder, right? Did those soldiers find answers? Did their faith evolve? The book doesn't always say, but it definitely leaves you thinking.
It's thought-provoking for sure. Compagno doesn't offer easy answers. She presents these stories as testaments to the human need for meaning and hope, even in the darkest of times.
One thing that really got to me was the way soldiers use scripture to interpret their experiences. There's this one passage comparing battlefield smoke to God's presence.
Wow, I don't recall that one.
It's incredible. The sheer psychological power of those metaphors.
Yeah, those metaphors provide a way to make sense of the unimaginable. And it's not just limited to scripture either.
Right.
There are stories about soldiers finding spiritual meaning in a sunset or a wildflower growing in a bombed-out field. It's like they're searching for these glimmers of hope and beauty amidst the destruction.
So I guess taking a step back, what does it all mean for us? What are the key takeaways from all these stories?
Well, I think Compagno's work is a reminder that faith's role in wartime is multifaceted. It's solace, it's strength, it's even a framework for understanding trauma.
Right, it's not one-dimensional.
But it also raises questions about morality, doubt the complex relationship between belief and action.
Yeah, and it shows that faith on the front lines is so much more nuanced than just a feel-good story.
It's a real deep dive into the human experience.
Exactly. So before we go, one last thought for you to ponder. Can you think of moments in your own life where you've sought solace in something larger than yourself?
Oh, that's a good one.
Even if it wasn't necessarily religious faith. How did that belief, whatever form it took, help you navigate a challenging situation?
Yeah, something to think about for sure.
Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
It was my pleasure.
Until next time.
See you then.
Grab Under His Wings by Emily Compagno, now on sale for just $21.99. Don't miss this chance to build good habits and achieve remarkable results. Click Buy Now today.
Like and subscribe for more Book Haven podcasts.